Hey everyone, my name is David Dunbar, or the Theme Park Evangelist. While I still have the time and the opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and use this advantage to talk to you guys about my year three of doing my Disciple Now weekends. So, this was my third and final year. Unfortunately, the youth pastor at the time left the church right after this year. But at least he made the third year memorable. And I'm also very glad that I convinced my brother to go with me because of the fact that he never would have had the opportunity to go. And if I'm not mistaken, he left the church in 2009, which is the same exact year that James Smith that used to go to Calvary Baptist Church. He used to be a Sunday school teacher over there. Decided that he was going to gather up some people and start up a baby church called Serve Church, spelled SURV. We got the name from Joshua 24:15, and we originally met at Calvary Baptist Church. Then we met at various houses, mainly his, and then we finally got permission to start meeting over at Winter Haven Christian School, which lasted until about 2020. And then the pandemic hit, and then they've been meeting over at Hampton Inn and Suites in Lake Wales, right across the from the Eagle Ridge Mall off of, they were meeting over at Hampton Inn and Suites. If you go on the opposite side of US 27 in Lake Wales, Florida, over to the Eagle Ridge Mall, the front entrance, also over by the Bob Evans, that's exactly where they're at. So the Eagle Ridge Mall entrance is here. The Hampton Inn and Suites is here, where the church is meeting. You basically just go in, you take an immediate left, and they're in one of the meeting rooms. And they meet every single Sunday at 10 a.m. And they've been over there, honestly, ever since. So I know it's crazy, but hey, whatever works. So that's more or less how I end up over at Serve Church. And then, as far as how did I find Hebron Baptist Church, well, you're going to have to watch my live stream on Wednesday to find out. Because I'm going to talk to you guys all about my Kentucky life on that day. But as far as my Disciple Now, year 3, night 1, so Steve Straub, he was the youth pastor at the time. He arranged for us to go out camping in the middle of nowhere. I'm trying to remember exactly where. It was north of where we were, like about an hour-ish. And we got out there, we set up a bunch of tents, and everybody was literally going insane the entire time. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys night 1 and night 2, or day 1 and day 2 at the same exact time, because it's kind of a blur in my mind. And then I'll save day 3 for last. Well, I remember night 1 was really odd because of the fact that at one point there was a moment when we were trying to start up a fire and we were trying to find firewood, and somebody went out into the woods and they found this dead Christmas tree. And trust me, I actually found found a dead Christmas tree one time. I went behind my family's cottage out in Kincardine, Ontario. We were playing some kind of weird game. I'm not going to even talk about it. And I just happened to find a dead Christmas tree out there. I was like, oh, that's an interesting place for a Christmas tree. And I was told just to go ahead and toss it. Like, obviously it was put there for a reason. Well, the same situation happened in the woods when we went camping. Somebody found a dead Christmas tree and went and grabbed it, threw it in the fire, and started up a fire geyser. And my brother found that very comical. There was also another point when there was a bobcat, if I remember correctly, and one of my friends was absolutely terrified of them, and I guess he brought his machete with him, which is really creepy and disturbing and hilarious at the same time. And he literally jumped up on a picnic table and he yanked his machete out and started swinging around like a madman. He was like, something like that. I'm just like, what? Apparently, I did not see this happen, but my brother did, so I'm going to go with that. And I also remember on the very first night we roasted hot dogs and s'mores. And I remember the youth pastor, he brought this cool hat along so he could do Bible study. And it had two lights on it, so it had one here and one here. And that's literally how we did our Bible studies at night, because it gets dark in the woods, like literally. The next day was really weird too. I remember there was one point when everybody was starting to lose it. The guys decided to pile on the back of this pickup truck and they went off somewhere. And they all had their t-shirts off of their bodies and around their head. And they were just going, ooh, ooh, ooh. And there was one of my friends that decided to open up his tailgate of his truck and he put these cans on there. So he's kind of recreating a scene from Home Alone. And he stands back and he pulls out his BB gun and he just starts shooting everything off of the tailgate. And I'm just like, what? Like, what is the point of that? And I believe at one point we decided to play some, like, ultimate frisbee or something. I don't remember. I know we played football at one point. I just remember it was so hot on the Saturday. And obviously everything we had to eat had to be, the kind of food that you can bring with you on a camping trip. I mean, we did cook a lot of food because we had the fire. We also had a way to keep everything cold, but I still just don't remember really having anything refrigerated, so to speak. Finally, my clothes are almost done. That's why it's getting a little noisy right now. That night was honestly the most hysterical. So we were sitting around just talking and having a good time, and one of the guys decided he was going to get up and go to bed early. And one of my friends was like, and to mention he was an adult, and he was like, hey, I got an idea. I'm going to go get my chainsaw, and I'm going to scare him. And one of my other friends decided he was going to YouTube the whole thing. So we basically formed a train, and we followed him into the tent. So unfortunately, the YouTube video got taken down a long time ago because it was inappropriate. So we basically were right behind this guy. He gets close enough to the guy, but not close enough that he's going to actually cut his head off or anything. And he just starts up the chainsaw right in front of the guy. And just as I expected, he just sits right up. He's like, ah! And we were dying, and I went... You can actually hear that in the YouTube video. We were a bunch of idiots, and if you think that we didn't learn our lesson from the first time not to do that, well, unfortunately, we decided to do it again. About half an hour later, another guy decided to get up and go to bed, and we attempted to do it again, but unfortunately, the chainsaw wouldn't start up, and the guy was like, stupid chainsaw! Obviously, we weren't done having fun yet, because at one point... the guy who was YouTubing the chainsaw incident found out I had a fear of snakes. Well, back then I had a very bad fear of snakes. My fear of snakes is mild now. I mean, I had a dream last night that I was holding a snake and I was not holding it properly, and this snake's mouth was like, like this, and it was honestly going to bite me any second. And surprisingly, it did not, which is weird because it could have easily just gone like this, because I'm literally holding it like this. It could have just gone. But then again, it was just a dream, so I'm surprised that it did not bite me in my dream, but whatever. But that's another story for another. That's just a weird random dream I just had, so it's really not that important anyhow. But this guy literally is chasing me around with a little toy snake that he attached to a string, and I'm running all over the place. I'm running in my tent. I'm like, give it away, I don't. And he's just like rolling his eyes, like, I am not dealing with this right now. Like, this is not happening. I cannot believe he is that afraid. Like, when I was in middle school, one of the guys chased me around with a stuffed snake, and I was actually afraid of it. I see it all the time at the Ark now, and I don't even care. I mean, I've even gotten so brave, I've gone and taken my whole hand and pet a shark with my bare hand. And I don't just mean my two fingers. I mean, like, literally take the whole hand. And you'd be And you would think, David, are you crazy? Like, don't you want to lose your hand? Apparently, I'm not that afraid anymore. Because, yes, like, that shark could have easily bit my hand off because there's no guarantee the shark's not going to react. That's why they ask you to pet a shark like this. I mean, my favorite thing to pet in the water is stingrays, though I always want an opportunity to pet a dolphin as well. One of these days, I want to go swim with the dolphins. But anyhow, the other funny thing is he eventually got bored with the toy snake, and he went and tied it up somewhere. And I guess there was another guy that was afraid of snakes, and he was freaking out over the snake as well. Literally, it was in another part of the campsite where the food was at, and it's just dangling by a rope, and it's just spinning around. I was just like, oh my word. Like, at that point, it wasn't bothering me anymore because it was just dangling by this rope. It's not like it's a threat or anything to me. And it's just a toy snake anyhow. I mean, yeah, I was afraid of it at the time, but these days I'm definitely not afraid of it. I'm just like, pfft. I mean, come on, I've had real snakes get even closer to me than that. And I don't even care. So, that was more or less day one or night one and day two. Whenever we weren't cutting up or whatever, we were doing Bible study or we were eating or we were playing some kind of extracurricular activity or sport, whatever. Couldn't tell right away if it was storming out there or not. Who knows if it's going to storm anymore? I think the worst of it's gone. But yeah, I mean, I'll do a separate vlog for night three. Hopefully my phone's almost done charging so I can speed up the process of my Kings Island vlog from today because it is taking forever for it to get uploaded to YouTube. Unfortunately, it is in the kitchen, and the Wi-Fi in the kitchen is absolutely horrible, which is probably why it's going to take 24 hours for it to upload to YouTube. Versus, I'm in the master bedroom where the Wi-Fi is at its strongest, but I'm eventually going to bring my phone upstairs anyhow. So I will see you guys in the next vlog, and always remember, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Have a great night. Peace out. I think I've done enough vlogs for the night. I'm going to take tomorrow off because, from YouTubing that is, because I'm working all day long tomorrow. I'm working 11:30 a.m. to 8 p.m. The next time I'm planning on vlogging, unless for whatever reason something changes tomorrow, but I will find out, is Wednesday I'm going to do a live stream on celebrating 3 years of living here in Northern Kentucky. And I'll talk about living here for the past 30 years. I will have my YouTube channel up right here. And I will let you guys know basically more or less all the different cool Kentucky, Ohio vlogs or Kings Island vlogs that I've done in just the past 3 years. Not necessarily in order. Going to do my best. And just what it's been like living here versus Florida. So I will definitely see you guys then.